Hey guys, it's Ash here with WatchMojo, and today we're going to be ranking all the Dragon Ball films.
But there's no point in fighting him. He's the legendary Super Saiyan. I can't believe how cowardly you're acting, Vegeta.
For this list, we'll be counting down each and every one of this seminal shonen franchise's movies from worst to best. As much as we'd love to give our thoughts on a certain live-action adaptation, we'll be sticking to animated features. Which Dragon Ball film is your favorite? Sound off in the comments. And if there's another Dragon Ball list you want to see, go to my Twitter at AshJBo and let me know. Number 24, Dragon Ball Z Bio Broly. This one should have come with a hazard warning. You probably can't tell because of the sludge, but once upon a time, the legendary Super Saiyan was genuinely menacing. Impressively, ruining Broly isn't even the film's most damning sin. That belongs to its utter lack of tension. While adding Android 18 and Hercule to the mix brings some breezy humor to the first half, when the beefed-out Blondie finally enters the fray, the movie devolves into a series of well-animated but inexcusably boring fights. Broly with boring fights. I guess we shouldn't be surprised since he's barely the same character anyway. Much like the Saiyan himself, the gross drudge makes this a mindless slog devoid of any personality or substance.
Where's Broly? That freak's all wet. Huh?
Number 23, Dragon Ball Curse of the Blood Rubies. The nicest thing we can say about the first ever Dragon Ball film is that it's wholly inoffensive, but there's no real reason to check it out either. Set in an alternate continuity, Curse of the Blood Rubies retells the events of the series' first arc in just 50 minutes. And it goes about as well as you'd expect. The breakneck pace robs the story of any sense of adventure or heart.
I did it! This Kamehameha stuff really worked!
However, the biggest downgrade is replacing Emperor Pilaf as the central villain with the completely forgettable King Gurumez. It never justifies its own existence for new or old fans, and instead exists as a watchable but altogether pointless detour. Number 22, Dragon Ball Z Broly Second Coming. It may not douse the title character in sludge, but this sequel's power level is still noticeably lower than the first's. The film crawls through trivial and clunky plot points at a pace rivaling Frieza's infamous 5 minutes, only to reward your patience with a lame scuffle where Broly somehow doesn't kill Videl.
Somebody woke up cranky, and it's just gonna get worse.
It feels like we're trapped in the hyperbolic time chamber until Gohan arrives ready to kick some Saiyan tail. But even then, the dull and uninspired choreography fails to generate anything resembling excitement. Second Coming's saving grace is the legendary family Kamehameha, which is epic enough to single-handedly rescue it from absolute embarrassment. Number 21, Dragon Ball Sleeping Princess in Devil's Castle. At the very least, the franchise's second movie is more creative than the first, though admittedly that's a low power pole to reach. Lucifer and his plan to blow up the sun is certainly memorable, but ultimately it's the same gi with a different color. It's just a new villain, a new evil plan, and a new reason for Goku to put up his dukes. Compared to future entries, it's just not all that entertaining. Sure, it isn't without some classic Dragon Ball gags, but the poor animation and lackluster story structure make it hard to sit through. Maybe if Lucifer had gotten rid of the sun, there wouldn't be such a shadow hanging over this film. Number 20, Dragon Ball GT, A Hero's Legacy. Even though future Trunks already proved that stories outside the main timeline can be super, GT's one and only flick failed to do anything interesting with the concept. There's loads of potential in seeing the future generation grapple with their weighty lineage, but instead of doing that, we get a bland road trip without any of the character or drama that defines the series. It's simply too beholden to what came before, and not even his shoehorned Super Saiyan transformation helps Goku Jr. hold a candle to his iconic ancestor. Much like the series it hails from, the ideas here are solid. We just wish this grand tour had been a bit more fun.
I can't let you hurt my friends! Lord Yo, your reign is over! Ah!
Number 19, Dragon Ball Z, Lord Slug. The plot may move as slow as the mollusk its villain is named after, but on paper, there's a lot going for this one. Lord Slug, despite lacking any real personality, at least stands out as the only Namekian villain in the films. He actually achieves his wish for eternal youth too, not that it did him much good after Goku went Super Saiyan, or not so Super Saiyan. Don't ask us what that's about. The fun movesets and expanded Namekian lore are welcome additions, but that's just not enough to stand out in a series with over 20 films. It's not a bad way to spend an hour, but it doesn't do anything the other Dragon Ball films don't do better. Number 18, Dragon Ball Mystical Adventure.
Why do people want these so badly?
Well, I guess because they want to wish for something.
After 2 strikeouts, the last of the original Dragon Ball films finally made it onto a base, even if it's not quite a grand slam either. Yes, it's another alternate retelling, but this one actually has fun reframing the series lore. It adapts parts of the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament and Red Ribbon Army sagas, but with bizarre new plot elements like Chiaotzu being a king and Arale helping take down Mercenary Tao. Unfortunately, it's too short to do any of these ideas justice, which makes it a lackluster viewing experience once the novelty wears off. It's not quite worthy of its mystical moniker, but at least it's different enough to warrant a first watch. Number 17, Dragon Ball Z, The Tree of Might. Goku Black who? Long before Super did it, this flick took a crack at the evil doppelganger trope, and even managed to tie it into Saiyan lore. The movie's opening act feels unnecessarily padded, looking at you, Icarus, but once it sprouts, the story takes a refreshing turn. The titular arboreal weapon gives the plot a unique objective that's more than just punching the other guy really, really hard. Add in good use of the supporting cast and the always appreciated Great Ape form, and there's a lot to like here. If it got into the root of things quicker and didn't end with the predictable Spirit Bomb, it might have been able to climb the tree a bit higher. Number 16, Dragon Ball Z, The Return of Cooler. Frieza's brother is playing by the cardinal rule of anime and horror villains. They always come back for a sequel. Thanks to his shiny enhancements, Goku and Vegeta team up for the first time to deliver some devastating combos. They may not be able to compete with a metal army, but it's still novel and epic to see these two on the same side.
It's been nice knowing you, Vegeta.
Oh, shut up!
Now, Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin are there too, but they aren't given much to do anyway. Really, those scenes are only notable for Master Roshi and Yajirobe, who add some much-needed humor. Return of Cooler is inconsistent and has a highly questionable ending, but the gold-haired fight at its center is awesome enough to keep us coming back. Number 15, Dragon Ball: The Path to Power. To commemorate the 10th anniversary of the original anime, this film went back to Bulma running over Goku. But don't worry, this retelling is actually pretty damn good. Despite cramming elements of several arcs into 90 minutes, the streamlined narrative actually manages to capture the spirit of the original series in a way no other reimagining has. The exemplary production values and excellent music make it easy to revisit even for those already familiar with the story, which is exactly what a retelling should do. It can only fly so high since it's retreads something we've seen before, but at the very least it deserves praise for making even Yamcha look cool again. Number 14, Dragon Ball Z Dead Zone. As the very first film under the Z moniker, this entry is a happy fusion dance of the best elements of the original series and its sequel. It isn't all muscle and beam struggles, but it's also much more ambitious than previous Dragon Ball films, especially in its villain. Garlic Jr. may seem like a less interesting Emperor Pilaf, but he gets credit for successfully wishing for immortality and having a motive that ties into the series' established lore.
I ask to be made immortal!
While it does inevitably devolve into the Goku show, at least it lets the likes of Kami and Chi-Chi get in on the action first. Even the main series can't say that anymore. Number 13, Dragon Ball Z, Super Android 13. If Vegeta was mad Trunks didn't warn him about the extra androids before, wait until he hears there's 3 more coming their way. At least they make for a film that's entertaining from beginning to end. The well-paced story involves genuine rising action to escalate the fight between not 1, not 2, but 3 Super Saiyans.
Look, it's a Super Saiyan triune, Gohan!
Creative locales like a shopping mall and the Arctic keep things engaging, even though the whole movie is basically one non-stop beatdown. It doesn't shake up the formula and its villains are as bland as actual robots, but it's hard to care when even the obligatory Spirit Bomb finisher is this cool. Number 12, Dragon Ball Z, the world's strongest. When you think of the most powerful warriors in the early days of Z, Goku should come to mind. Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien are probably up there too. Unfortunately, Dr. Wheelo is working with some outdated info. In his quest to find the strongest body to inhabit, he doesn't kidnap any of those guys, but Master Roshi instead.
Now what can I do for you?
Dr. Wheelo calls for you. Come with us.
Oh, and did we mention Wheelo is just a brain in a robot suit? The new antagonist and storyline are delightfully unique, especially compared to the series' other films. It may not have as much high-octane action as the later Z films, but this underrated gem's inventive narrative and quirky characters are a love letter to the best parts of the original run. Number 11, Dragon Ball Z Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan. There's a good reason this is the only villain to star in 3 films, and that's not even including his recent reboots. As the longest of the original Z movies, it takes a long time for the power levels to start rising, but Broly does one thing right, and it does it really, really well. The action is bar none some of the most brutal and intense from any corner of the franchise. Broly's lack of compelling characterization isn't as much of a detriment here either, since the vengeful Paragus gives the film a complex secondary antagonist. This movie's impact and legacy means Broly still wins the gold, and we don't mean his hair. Number 10, Dragon Ball Z Wrath of the Dragon. Nope, Shenron isn't the focus here, and neither is a new villain. Instead, the spotlight falls on Tapion, a conflicted hero with half of the ruinous Hirudegarn trapped inside him. Refreshingly, this movie gets quiet, which allows a heartfelt bond to grow between Tapion and Kid Trunks. The young Saiyan soon realizes the only way to stop Hirudegarn is to kill his new friend, which is just the kind of character-based conflict we wish more of the movies had.
Tapion!
It's an absolute disappointment then when Goku's shoehorned victory robs Trunks' choice of any real consequence. It's only natural that a picture with dragon in its name is one of the series' best, as long as you skip the last few minutes, that is. Number 9, Dragon Ball Z BoJack Unbound. For the most part, this film sticks to the routine. A villain and his lackeys are a threat to Earth, and Goku and company beat them up. Well, except for one noticeable difference. Goku is dead. Instead, this is Gohan's movie, and it's all the better for it. The tournament framework provides several unconventional landscapes and interesting character interactions before the titular villain even steps onto the battlefield. When he does, it's top-tier classic Dragon Ball action at its finest, capped off with a scene that needs no introduction. Gohan is no stranger to iconic power-up sequences, but this one serves as a special reminder of how unbelievably cool he was at his peak. Goku, we barely missed ya. Number 8. Dragon Ball Z Cooler's Revenge. Frieza's brother might not fare much better than his sibling against a Super Saiyan, but that's not for a lack of trying. A well-timed blast takes Goku out of commission for most of the runtime, creating an engaging game of cat and mouse for Gohan and the others. It's a tense and captivating setup, especially since it leads to the fantastic quarrel between Piccolo and Cooler's armored squadron. When our hero jumps back in the ring, the showdown is nothing short of ferocious and builds towards one of the greatest Super Saiyan transformations, period.
He's changed.
It ends with Goku literally throwing the villain's last attack back at him. We can't think of a finishing blow any cooler. Pun fully intended. Number 7. Dragon Ball Z The History of Trunks. There's no saving the Earth this time around. The androids have already won by the time the opening credits roll. Following future Trunks before his debut in the Android Saga, this glimpse at his apocalyptic timeline is by far one of the bleakest corners of the franchise. The film finds a shred of hope in the relationship between Gohan and Trunks, and it's that mentorship that delivers one of the most impactful moments in all of Dragon Ball.
Let's go get him.
Right. Cool.
Sorry about that, Trunks, but I wouldn't be able to forgive myself if anything happened to you.
While its own merits as a standalone product can't be understated, it also succeeds at expanding upon the lore of the series in an interesting way. It's not easy to sit through, but that's precisely why it's a must-watch. Number 6. Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn. Earth isn't the only thing at stake when the essence of all evil causes a ruckus in Otherworld. Though personally, we don't mind the makeover. The film may follow our favorite Saiyan duo battling the incarnation of malice, but it manages to have a lot of fun along the way. Whether it's the quirky aesthetic, outstanding animation, or delightful villain cameos, this feature manages to be pure popcorn entertainment. Don't fret, it's got style to spare too. Alongside a badass design, Janemba's unusual abilities make for an enticing and memorable bout with our heroes. Throw in the spectacular debut of a fan-favorite fusion, and we're reminded that action and fun aren't mutually exclusive. Number 5. Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. After yet another embarrassing defeat, Frieza was probably better off leaving his grudge back on Namek. As the follow-up to Battle of Gods, this film excels at continuing character relationships and plot points from the previous film, while still forging its own identity. Frieza is better than ever, with all the menace and refined cruelty that made him iconic in the first place. His vengeful invasion of Earth is a definite high point, boasting amazing choreography and animation to sell the scale of the conflict. The final Saiyan showdown glows just as bright, and not just because of the new forms.
His power, it's amazing. What? Frieza has a new form.
The inventive twists and nostalgic callbacks make this the gold, or now blue standard, of how to bring back a character the right way. Number 4. Dragon Ball Super Superhero. In this heroic outing, the Red Ribbon Army returns with some new androids for Gohan to thrash. But despite the costumes, they aren't what make this flick super. Refreshingly, this nostalgic ride slows down to explore its characters instead of throwing them into more world-ending action. Though don't worry, there's still plenty of that too. While the new CG animation definitely takes some getting used to, it still delivers some fast-paced fight scenes worthy of the big screen. Alongside the undeniable thrills and welcome callbacks, Superhero serves as a reminder that empowering character arcs are just as much a part of Dragon Ball as the high-stakes action. Number 3. Dragon Ball Z Bardock, the father of Goku. He may be the main character, but Goku's father is anything but a hero. We shouldn't like the Saiyans after all the lives they've taken, and yet, you can't help but root for Bardock as he hopelessly tries to save his planet. Outnumbered and outclassed, his only solace is a vision that his son will avenge their race one day.
It's you, my son. You are the one who will defeat Frieza.
It's a brilliant character study destined to end in tragedy, but by the time it's over, you'll want to wish for Shenron to change the outcome. Much like History of Trunks, Bardock's story is an essential chapter in Dragon Ball history that looks to the past to find a deeper appreciation of the present. Number 2. Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. If you asked Shenron for Dragon Ball in its purest form, he'd bring you this film. Unlike other entries, this isn't just an excuse for cool action. It's a joyous celebration of everything that defines the series. It's classic, yes, but don't think it plays it safe, since even a new transformation can't help Goku beat Beerus. You heard that right, Goku is actually capable of losing a fight. Speaking of Beerus, he and Whis are given the time to grow and develop into organic parts of the universe in a way no other movie original characters have.
I mean, you're the strongest in the whole universe.
Well, I'm happy to see you're finally realizing the full terror of Beerus the Destroyer. But I know strength when I see it, and yours is formidable.
This was the first film to be considered canon for a reason. It truly understands the spirit that's made the franchise successful to this day. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Dragon Ball Super Broly. The legendary Super Saiyan has always been known more for his battle prowess than his personality, and there was no one better to remedy that than series creator Akira Toriyama himself. The film is almost entirely indebted to Toriyama's excellent script that lets the audience genuinely invest in Chilai, Lemu, and Broly long before the action ramps up.
That?
Is that you little thief?
Here's what I think about shock treatment.
Of course, it helps that this is tails down the most visually impressive the series has ever been. We thought Gogeta was cool before, but the looser animation style allowed his breathtaking smackdown with Broly to reach dizzying heights we never thought possible. Broly single-handedly proved that even after 30 years of animated brawls, the series' power level hasn't finished climbing just yet. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.